ASL Season 21 semi-final.
What's up, everybody? Welcome to the round of 4, day 1 here in the ASL Season 21. And what a very unusual pairing to have here, Tastosis.
Yeah, really unexpected to see how this has gone down. The fact that we are going to have Leta, someone who couldn't even qualify every single season, going into the round of 4 here with a completely different style to literally anyone else of any good level. It's completely wild.
It's crazy. Going up against Soma. Soma is absolutely one of the most terrifying Zergs ever. I think maybe the best of all the modern Zergs. And this is going to be a match, I think, that's frankly probably a big mismatch. But then again, Leta keeps defying the odds. Leta, by the way, is a player who has been around forever. I think some people, when people come by my stream and talk to me, occasionally I realize they kind of think he's like a new player because they hadn't heard of him as one of these old school legends. And it's like, no, he's been around forever, man. He's just someone who was basically always in the background compared to these other great players. So it's crazy that he's here in the Final Four.
Yeah, he has some big matches from the past. Like I remember, he had that incident where people were like, oh, did he cheat? He looked into the audience, which was kind of like really silly if you go back and look at it. His eyes shifted to the side for a millisecond. And there was, I remember specifically a game that he played where he actually beat Flash in an important match once. He did BBS, double barracks in the center of the map, and Flash happened to go command center first. And of course, you're always going to win that. And he pumped his fists really hard. I remember being really angry about that. I'm like, why are you so proud of yourself? Seriously, yeah, you beat Flash, but why would you? This beats that every time. Anyone can do that. But no, he's been around. He's played really important matches over the years, but he's not like a championship level player. He never really has been, but here he is, and his Terran vs. Zerg is pretty deadly. He could theoretically upset Soma with some of these crazy Wraith builds.
It's going to be a tough one. I don't think the Wraith style is going to go away. By the way, I think Leta has played a much more comprehensive Terran style overall. He does look really strong. He did earn his way here. It's undeniable. You can't get all the way to the round of 4 off of weird, silly cheeses, right? I get it. It can happen in the round of 24. Sure, it's one game. We've seen it happen before, right? But, he's really gone toe-to-toe with some fantastic players in a series and pulled through ahead. So, look, I think he's definitely the underdog, but let's not sleep on him just yet.
Yeah. It's you can see the other pros have actually predicted who's going to win, and it looks like what is this? Only Snow thinks that Leta is going to be able to take it. Everyone else thinks Soma's going to basically crush. That's funny. It's okay, specifically a couple Protoss players think it's going to be close or going towards Leta. That's really funny because some of these guys are Leta's practice partners. Like Jaedong goes 4-2 for Soma. I bet you Jaedong helped Leta practice. He's like, nah, he's still going to kill you, but you're going to take a couple maps.
Yeah, 82% in the online prediction favoring Soma here. This might be the most one-sided round of 4 ever. Again, it's definitely one of the most unusual. It was also crazy that, of course, Leta paired against Tulbo, which means one of them has to advance, right? Which was kind of one of the crazy things about the round of 8 in general here. But, let's see what he's got. The thing about Soma, though, is he's so tactical and he's very good at navigating early game. By the way, one of the things about Leta is it's, unlike Snow's Reaver style, which really comes down to his control, Wraith style, it is some control, but it's also technique and teching and build orders.
Yeah.
And so you've got to think that Soma put in extra practice to try to figure out how to deal with that. And by the way, the Wraith style is one of the hardest styles to play, in my opinion, in TVZ. So, it's cool that he's, the most known player for doing it, but if Soma's done his homework, it's going to be very interesting to see how far Leta can take the game out.
Yeah, and Soma's going to have to have practiced with some very specific people, because I feel like there's 4 players that are really good at Wraith Micro, like really, really good, and Light's one of them. So Light didn't help him practice because he's practicing for Flash. But yeah, I'm sure he had the other guys tied up in some of these Wraith games. Of course, it won't be only Wraith games, just to make that clear. There will be other games coming out of Leta, just because that's his style and kind of his superpower doesn't mean he can't or won't do other things as well. I am expecting that he should do at least one bunker rush in this best 7. Like maybe a double barracks one, maybe just a single barracks. But that should be mixed in a little bit. I don't know. If he has enough good cheeses, it's reasonable. You have to get lucky, I think, to win this as Leta. I think everyone would agree with that. That he kind of has to get lucky. The builders have to line up right, but it is possible.
Yeah, he could do it. Soma's playstyle, I think, is a little bit more ambiguous. I don't know what kind of openers or what kind of techs he's going to go for. He's very, very good at controlling at the start of the game all the way into the late game. He's great when it comes to these counterattacks. He's great at punishes. So it's very, very tough to predict.
Google Play ASL.
It's time for the round of 4 of Google Play ASL. Here on this stage, a finalist will be decided today. Who will become a protagonist in that drama? Please put your hands together as we call our 2 headliners on stage. It's round of 4 Terran Leta and defending champion Soma. It's time for them to take the stage, surrounded by applause and ovations. Ahead of this final round of 4, what drama, what history will unfold today? Let's have a word with our players and find out. First, let's make sure that they have their microphones. And let's start with Soma. The defending champion, a champion that was made here. As soon as Leta advanced, wow, I've made the finals. Thank you. Looking at Leta on his first ever semi-finals appearance, I bet that's what you must have been thinking. What do you say? I did not think that seeing Leta here. I was hoping he would get knocked out, but he did so well he advanced, so I did not think that. Were you impressed then? I got the feeling that he made his opponents seem like they did not know what they were doing. I felt he's really good. Miracle Boy. His 2 starboard that you know it's coming. Is that also sending a shiver down your spine? Obviously, he's going to play 2 starboard. Oh no, can I stop what's coming? Is today the end? Are you not worried about that? Even if he used 2 starboard in a single game, I feel extremely confident against it. Wow, okay. It's Tier 4's first ever round of 4. You make it onto this stage having taken down ASL Heroes, past champions. Not only that, you just dispatched your mortal enemy Turbo. You're now meeting last season's champion Soma. How do you feel? All the way until yesterday, I was a bundle of nerves. But as I was making my way to the studio on the train today, all my anxiety went away. As you were waiting in the green room, looking at Soma, did you get the feeling he's worried? Just a smidge. Yes, he seemed nervous. Right. I think I'll win today. But what Soma said, use 2 starboard ones and know that you're dead. What are you going to say to that? I'll use it in all 7 sets. 2 starboard in all 7 sets. So this big brain, master of strategy, master of micro Soma, even he can't stop it. Is that what you're saying? He might manage once. Right. So out of all the Zergs in ASL, how do you rate Soma here? Well, naturally, he is the champion of last season, so I think he is the best. But he hasn't played me yet, right? Soma, the champion, the greatest Zerg, but he has not got a taste of Leta yet. As we have just heard, Leta will use 2 starboard in all 7 sets in a row. He will yield 1 game and win all the rest. What do you think, Soma? Listening to Leta, I suddenly remember what Tolbo had to say about me. He said I'm weak in late game, and then he played 2 gate. I don't believe Leta's words. You know, I wanted to play Leta before, but he was nowhere to be found. He's finally doing well this season, so we're getting to play. Wow. Soma, on his way to the grand final stage, simply couldn't beat you because he didn't get to play you. And now he says he's already in the grand final. I think he's under a misconception. He's got it wrong? Yes. So what are the facts? Is this the age of Leta? Gone is the old Leta. Welcome the new Leta. Your first ever round of 4. Your first chance to go to the finals. Do you know how long it took? It took 20 years. Are you confident to bring the heavens down today? I used to be called Miracle Boy. Perhaps it's time to invoke that miracle today. I think I'll go to the finals today. In that case, with a miracle in the chamber, new Leta, please address Soma. I am sorry. You are sorry? This is the end. Wow, Leta is piercing the sky with his confidence. He's got a relaxed look on his face. What do you think about this interview, Soma? Leta always waves his confidence about, but when push comes to shove and we play, it all amounts to simple provocation. I can tell he is not confident at all. So what's your score prediction today? I would say 4-1. 4-1? Yes. 4-1. And Leta? 4-1 for me too. 4-1. Both players are speaking with confidence. Who will become a leading character on the grand final stage? Please put your hands together and let's kick off this first round of 4 match.
아예 없었죠. 컨트롤에서 자신감이 있어요. 박상현이 중간에 오버로드 끊고
안에 뒤덮습니다.
문제는 저울링의 양을 굶겨서 이렇게 전장을 자기 마음대로 지금은 주무르기 때문에
지배하고 있어요.
진짜 예측으로 상상 불가 뭐 이런 이야기밖에는 떠오르지 않습니다.
예전에는 8강에서 다 떨어졌거든요. 그때 실수를 하지 말자라는 생각으로 준비했습니다.
신상훈 벌써 때문에 멘탈이 좀 터진 듯한 앞쪽에 이거
비상
노련함의 차이라고 볼 수 있고 차분함의 차이라고 볼 수가 있겠습니다. 빈틈을 신상문은 여지없이 노리고 그리고 너무 서두르지도 않습니다.
최재 17년간 넘지 못한 4강 드디어 넘어서면서 4티어가 4강
새롭게 떠오르는 그리고 이제 리그를 지배하려고 하는 슈퍼 에이스가 다시 이렇게 돌아오는
All right, guys, this is it. We are ready to get into this match. The winner of this series is moving on into the finals. Soma versus Leta coming up.
All right. I am very excited for this match, honestly. Like, we know that Soma's favored and everything. We've already talked to death about the Wraiths and the potentials of Leta, and I do think it's going to go towards Soma, but I still think it's going to be a good match. Like, Leta is not a slouch in this matchup. In fact, you mentioned before, he's been playing good StarCraft. You know, some of the weaknesses he had in the past, he doesn't really have anymore. The guy, like, played a macro TVP and beat best. Like, what more do you want from someone?
Yeah, I mean, it's probably going to be very stylized this time around since it is TVZ, and this is, the matchup he's gone for Wraiths basically for like 25 years. He's been doing this. He's always stayed true to that style. As you were saying, Artosis, I think there are going to be games where he's not going to go for that, but we're definitely, if not like 100%, going to have a couple Wraith games here.
Yeah, I can't imagine him not utilizing his Wraith builds at least like 4 times through the course of a best of 7. He's just so good with them. And the thing is, the meta actually is good for like Wraiths in general right now. Like, everyone's been using them, and he's the best at it. So that lines up pretty well. But the thing is, Soma is a meta changer. Like, he is someone that, like, dictates a lot of what the metagame is for Zerg and figures out a lot of things. He makes a lot of guides, teaches people how to play. So I actually think we're going to see something fresh on how he deals with Wraiths. We already have a lot of the things that we know, like people get Burrow, right? And it's like, okay, well, you get Overlord speed, but maybe you play defensively here and then move in like 6 Overlords. But I think Soma might have something fresh to show us against Leta as well.
I'm very curious what that's going to be. I'm going to talk more about this in the actual games, but I think this is going to have a huge impact on the way Wraiths are handled for the rest of StarCraft.
I do too.
Because, we sometimes we have Wraith games in ASL. Most games are not, right?
Mm-hmm.
And so, when we see them, it's something we go, oh, okay, well, we know what this is. Let's talk about it. But this is, one of the most important StarCraft matches that's going to happen all year, right? And Soma is probably the best Zerg that there is right now. So he's going to basically show the entire world a lot of different ideas on how to approach Wraiths. So, Leta's actually gotten this far. And remember, there's no Zerg. If he wins here, there's no Zerg in the finals, right? But, if he can pull out the best stuff that he's spent basically 25 years doing, these Wraith builds, these unique situations that could be very tricky, by the way, for Zerg early on, maybe he can do it.
Yeah, it's a real possibility. I think that Jane Doe map is going to be really important. If Leta can't take that down, there's not going to be too much chance for him here. So let's get into it. Sylphid 3 going to be our first map.
Okay, let's get into it, guys. We've got Leta here up at 12 o'clock and Soma in the bottom left. Keep in mind that on this map, you don't have high ground. Now, that's fine. It's not good or bad necessarily in this matchup, but it can be harder to go straight into Wraiths if you don't have a high ground. You're a little bit more attackable. Hydras are oftentimes leveraged to basically come in and punish players that are going to, hold on a second, he's sending this out right away. Whoa, we might not even have any Wraiths.
Yeah, I don't think we'll have Wraiths this game. This is clearly going to be an 8 racks. We'll see if it's going to be a double 8 racks. I don't know. We'll see. If the supply pops up to 9, then he's going to be going gas behind this, and then maybe we still do see Wraiths. But definitely opening up with a bunker rush, it looks like.
Yeah, a lot of fans here for both Soma and Leta. By the way, I don't see that second STV on the map, so this is going to be just 1 racks out here. So, he might be able to go Wraiths behind this. I don't know the ins and outs of 8 racks into tech. Do you, Artosis?
Yeah. Well, I'm a Terran player, so I have to. But it's like, so when you do a single 8 racks in the center, you always follow it up with factory because you just simply can't defend. If you put it like kind of in front of your natural, you can back up with Marines eventually and like expand. But that wouldn't be the case here, right? So what you do is you take a little bit later gas. Like, he'll take his gas the next 5 seconds or so, most likely. And, you know, you put on the pressure. Oftentimes you end up having to skip an SCV or two. But the thing is, none of this matters that much because Soma has predicted this. He's going pool first. And this is what I was talking about luck. Like, if Soma goes pool first when you're going center racks, you're basically going to be screwed.
Yeah, this is not good for Leta right now. You're going to pull the Marines and try to come in here and hit. Obviously, this is ideal if you went hatchery first, right? Then you can really at least pull the drones out, try to get some kills there, try to destabilize them as the game progresses. And of course, you know, we have 4 lings made. How many more are going to be produced? You don't want to overproduce these, right? Because if, you know, you assume this is going to be a normal looking game, you'd want to be going into drones as quickly as possible. So, you know, the question is, oh, actually, he went up to 6. I see 2 more on the mini map. So this is a lot. This can actually just kill this, and he's going to go right through the middle.
Yeah, this is super rough. He just needs to get his lings together. There you go. And he's going to surround it. And this is, I mean, obviously highly unfortunate for Leta. But this is, like, Soma might be going lots of early pools because he expects this type of play out of Leta as well. Now,
right.
Can
it's
Leta get
kind of an insurance play?
Yeah. Can Leta get the Vulture out before the lings actually deal damage to him? That's kind of the next thing we gotta watch for.
Yeah, he is now setting the lings up here. You can't make any more Marines out of that barracks because it'll just be killed. The factory's going to finish, so the Vultures are going to start. The lings can still cause a little bit of chaos here in the main base. But yeah, I mean, this is a very, very rough opening. Ideally, you would have wanted to have drones pulled, killed off some workers, slowed the Zerg down. Instead, the Zerg is going to throw these lings on top of the SCVs and try to get any kills he possibly can get. Maybe go for that SCV that's making the starport.
Now, he did pull the SCVs off gas. That might be a little bit of a bluff to try to make him think it's not going to be lots of Wraiths. It looks like the SCV in the main base might have killed a drone by that carcass they just showed. I think that occurred, so that's kind of good counterplay. But yeah, where does Leta go from here? He could try, you know, a Vulture drop. He could just go for like a single Wraith into Cloaked Wraith or something like that. But no matter how you look at it, his initial, you know, center 8 racks really did nothing. Like, Soma is for sure ahead here.
So, you know, it's not ideal. I mean, I think Leta can still play his game, so to speak. But Soma basically has to just play a very clean game from here through. I think, and you tell me if I'm wrong about this, Tastosis, because this is like, you know, such an oddly specific type of StarCraft game. But it seems like with Wraith builds, you can be strong early, but you have to get some stuff done. It's not the most graceful switch into a normal game post mass Wraiths.
That's one of the hardest things. It's like, it's hard enough to learn the Wraith micro when it's just not a standard thing in the matchup. You got to really put a lot of time and effort into learning how to utilize them. But the transitions, that's one of the areas that Leta is really the best at. Where it's like, okay, what can you do off the back of this? Do you try to go command center? Do you do a 1-base push, right? Like, there are a lot of options that he could go for. Obviously, this game, he's like a little bit further behind than normal, so that makes it rougher. But Leta, you know, he's the guy that knows how to do it. So I'm gonna sit here and trust in whatever ideas that he has. But he's gone into the 2-port cloak. It's really slow comparatively, I would say, because that second port didn't even start until he had started a Wraith. So he's not going to have the same Wraith counts he normally has. But don't forget, when you go pool first, that's not free. Like, you skip drones. You have a later second hatchery, which means less larva overall. So it's not like Soma is in perfect condition, but he has heavily disrupted what Leta has wanted to do here.
Yeah, the turret placement's really good, by the way. Basically, it covers the 2 starports. The main is pretty much covered by the Wraiths that are going to be popping out of the starports as well. But Zerg is going to be accumulating a lot of mutas here and a lot of Wraiths. He's going to try to come in here, and he goes in between, threading that needle pretty nicely. He's going to try to hit some of these SCVs. There is a turret that's going to be finishing over there to the left. He's now going to fight the Wraiths. Oh my god, the shot connects right before it can cloak. In fact, I think cloak literally started, but the glaives had already been fired from the Mutalisks. crazy.
That is unfortunate. Losing even one Wraith, especially early on here, is so painful. And Soma actually has a nearby Overlord, which generally doesn't happen that often to Wraith builds. But of course, this one was such a strange variety with that center axe being found that he hasn't been able to clear that out. So there's a possibility that the Mutas come back now, meet up with this Overlord, and are able to do a little bit more damage than you're used to seeing in the early game against Wraiths.
So the thing about going for Wraiths is that they're very good air-to-air. Like, they will destroy stuff. The thing is, Koreans actually would nickname them paper planes, like paper airplanes, because they just die so fast. So you got to be able to make sure the Wraiths can't be hit. You can do that with Micro. You can do that with Cloak, obviously. Even if they bring an Overlord, the Wraiths can kill the Overlord almost immediately. But the Mutalisk is definitively a better fighting unit and a better unit in general, right? I mean, the Glaives, first of all, are actually crazy. I think this is a bit of an afterthought that Blizzard had when they made the unit, but like when you get to high-level play, having Glaives that bounce and spread damage is nuts. And here's what I'm talking about. So he can snipe that and get away right away.
Yeah. So basically, when you're seeing Wraith versus Muta, everything you've said here is true. The Mutas are just a better unit. So you have to kind of utilize... The Wraiths have better anti-air range than the Mutalisks. And obviously they have Cloak, and you can repair them. So like those are kind of... You have to use all that together to try to get ahead on the Mutas. But right now, the Mutas are diving as Overlord speed finishes. And Leta's just said, screw it, I'm going across to the to your base. And he has a lot of missile turrets. This is getting a little bit crazy right now. I think this is better for Soma, though. Like, he's going to kill all the turrets on this side and just massacre the SCVs.
I mean, this is kind of crazy. There's enough Overlords here. You're not going to be able to kill it with the Wraiths you have. Now, the Wraiths are just destroying drones in the main. I wish we would switch back there just for a second. Now, you know, Wraiths do a lot of damage air-to-air. They actually don't do that much damage air-to-ground. You know, they shoot a different thing. The Mutas shoot Glaives air-to-air and air-to-ground. The Wraiths shoot missiles air-to-air, and then this little laser beam thing air-to-ground that's actually pretty weak. It seems like Blizzard was pretty concerned about this unit being too strong when they made it. But, you know, they're both taking a lot of hits. He's going to get the Overlord again, which means he can cloak.
Oh,
and just,
my God.
Dude, this is crazy. There's nothing to spot. He can actually win this game.
Is he going to kill everything?
What?
And now all these Overlords over here are going to be killed off by the race that he has at home? Are we serious?
What?
Like, Soma is still way ahead on supply. He dealt a lot of damage, but the Wraiths have killed a fair amount of drones so far over here.
This is wild, man. I mean, what is that, 5 Wraiths? He's going to send 2 Overlords down. There are enough Mutas here that the Mutas can fight.
Oh, painful. 5, if you get them all to line up their firing, can one volley a drone. Anytime you can do that, right? Like, you got to know the numbers for your race. But they all have to hit at exactly the same time. So you lose one, it's like, okay, well, you got a double volley anyways. But yeah, he's got to go back and play a more defensive game from here. He's got to refill his SCVs a bit. He's made a ton of missile turrets, which I guess is good. But how do you transition from a spot like this? It's really difficult to say.
Well, this is one of the problems. I mean, there's not even really room to build stuff on the ground, like to make barracks or anything, right? Like the factory and the barracks are actually taking damage here. He's going to send even more Overlords up here. And, you know, the cloak, or I should say the energy, really, on the Wraiths isn't that high, so they can't really cloak their way out of this. I don't think a counterattack is an option here. He is doing a pretty good job with the moving shot. So he's basically chucking these missiles out and then trying to turn so that the Mutas can't really do damage. If he can start to do enough damage over here, this could snowball a little bit. I don't know how many Mutas are in that group. But, you know, Soma does not have a lot of drones. Oh, my God. This is crazy. Okay, the Mutas come back and defend there. I think there might be more SCVs than there are drones in this game for some perspective here.
You might be right on that. It's pretty close overall. We have actually +1 armor on these Mutas, so that is a little bit painful. The Wraith Micro has, of course, been absurdly good from Leta. I almost feel like, let's just cut to the chase, Leta. Switch into being a Zerg player. Like, what are we doing here? Imagine if you had Mutas, how good you would be. My God. He's handicapping himself with an inferior microable flying unit. But
it's kind of crazy, man. You know, the thing is, the Wraiths, he's going to be safe for now. The problem is that Zerg will eventually be able to switch into some type of ground. That could be Hydras, that could be Zerglings. I mean, I guess it could be Lurkers eventually if he wanted to do that. But, you know, Wraiths alone aren't going to cut it. So they're in this air arms race right now. I think he's got, what, about 7 Wraiths there? 6 Wraiths, I think. Yeah, 6 total. And he's going to try to come in and maybe kill some drones here. There is, by the way, one Overlord parked all the way in the very, very bottom left. And somehow he's going to end up finding this, I think, by accident.
Wow. Yeah, I mean, getting a couple kills is nice. And those were hurt ones.
Yeah.
He put his hurt ones
so
down
basically,
there. That's funny.
That's so funny. So Soma basically takes his weakest Overlords and was sending them there so that they wouldn't be picked off easily. And what Leta wanted to do was come up and hit from underneath the main base and ended up finding those. So that's gonna that would supply block Soma for a little bit. Now he's fighting back. But these Wraiths are basically separated from the main base here for Terran.
But look at this. He's multitasking right now. He sends in a couple Wraiths to the natural. He's trying to draw mutas up. This group was a very specific number. He went in with 6. Like the Overlords he found, I guess that's nice that he killed 2 Overlords, but he wanted to just pop in and kill a bunch of drones because 6 Wraiths one-shot drones no matter what, whether you line up the shots or not. So, like, he definitely has some ideas about how he wants to deal some more damage here to Soma, but the Overlords did kind of spot. I almost feel like that was better for Soma than if his Overlords were up with the main pack.
It's interesting because, you know, honestly, it not really occurred to me until I was watching this game. But, you know, Zerg, they kind of get this inherent advantage, and it's not just because of the types of air units they're using, but because you upgrade at the Spire. You can get +1 armor at the Spire or +1 attack. Terran has to get their air weapons and armor upgrades at the Armory. So they can't power the Wraiths up unless they were to be on a second base. It just wouldn't, you'd never see one armory made here with air weapons being upgraded in a situation like this. You don't have the gas to support that.
Yeah, you wouldn't do it unless you were going to make Valkyries anyways. And Valkyries don't micro like Wraiths. They have their own kind of micro. And honestly, looking at how many mutas there are, I bet he wishes he had some Valkyries, but that's not the build he was doing. It is, as you say, incredibly tough to do on one base. The Valkyrie is so expensive. Non-Terran players are always shocked. It's like 250, 125 with 3 supply. Second most expensive Terran unit that exists. It's like, seriously, it's hard to make those on one base.
In my mind, it costs like the same as a tank or something like that. It's wild that it's actually that good. So, you know, the problem is that the mutas can basically just shut down any turrets, anything that's going to be built anywhere. The only way to muscle your way through this would be with your Wraiths, which are getting low enough in numbers. I don't know that he can pull this off. He's going to come in here. He's going to catch some of these Mutalisks. No cloak triggered here, and the rest of the mutas are going to come up. Now, Mutalisks can basically move at about the same speed as... Oh, by the way, 1-1's done here. They can move at the same speed as Wraiths, so if you can get your moving shot going like this, you're going to be fine. If cloak is triggered, Wraiths can outrun Overlords.
Yes.
But we're not going to get to that point here. Soma takes game 1 versus Leta. And we're going to see if that's the way the rest of the night is going to look, or if Leta can pull something out. He did have a tough early game there.
Yeah. Yeah,
the 8 racks build order backfiring is terrible.
It is.
Sorry,
it's terrible. Like, it goes from if he had gone hatchery first, it's likely Leta has a small lead instead of being a bit behind. And that could have made all the difference. He still played a good game. He tried to give himself some opportunities, and Soma was able to block those, but he made it closer than I thought he would, considering that his 8 racks was found. So I think Leta's actually playing very well tonight, and of course, so is Soma.
Beautifully done. I think Soma, you know, it was real smart that he opened up with that pool first. Really, really safe. Guys, we got a short break. Coming up next, we're going to go to game number 2 on the map Jane Doe.
Where the blue is deep.
Welcome back, everybody. Thank you for waiting.
ASL Season
Yeah, I wanted to pick up there where we kind of left off. I think that the pool first opening is so smart by Soma. You know, you can look at that and be like, oh, it's a build order win. It's like, yeah, he's going to play exactly like that because he knows the more safe he is early, the easier the game's going to be later on. Because Leta basically has to win these games in the early game and before we get through the mid-game.
Yeah, and you know, you combine that with just like the current metagame of Terran, how Terran is played in general. It's like, yeah, this is a timing attack race. If like, for instance, if you go to 25 minutes plus, Zerg almost loses 0% of the games. You know, other than Bunker Rush, the early game, Zerg is going to be really safe, so he's kind of covering for that with the pool first. But if you go pool first and your opponent does a Rax expand and plays like a really great clean macro game, it makes that mid-game timing a bit harder. Like, are you going to have enough Sunkens? Are you going to have Lurkers in time? Do you have enough Mutalisks to stop some of the bio pushes that can come? So, you know, it's a balancing act, I would say, on both sides on how you choose this. And really important in these best of series to try to predict correctly and come up with the right strats.
Yeah, I mean, with Leta, there, you know, you don't have to open 8 racks, but it's one of those builds that can transition into wraiths, right? So you got to think about all the different builds that Leta can do that can end up in wraith builds, right? And how exactly does Zerg ensure that the Terran doesn't get the first couple of blows in that then set up the wraiths to basically control the game?
Yeah. I'm really interested to see what build is going to happen here on Jane Doe coming up, because Jane Doe was obviously Leta's first map pick, and it's a map where you could go command center first into wraiths. That is a real possibility. But there's this whole level of mind games where someone might say, I think that's what you're going to do. I'm going to throw away a 4 pool on this. You know, something like that. But at the same time, it's like, well, you could temper your build and go Rax expand into wraiths, right? Like, so there's all these different levels of power that both of them can try out on this map. But it does seem like the map that should be best for Leta overall, just because you were talking about how Sylphid doesn't have high ground, which can make it a little bit harder. Well, this has high ground and a free base. So it's like, this should be Wraith Paradise.
Yeah, this should be Wraith Heaven. I mean, you could not ask for a map that would be more comfortable for someone like Leta to set up on. And, you know, we got to remember, this is a best of 7. It is important, if you're going to win, you need to get a couple wins early on in that best of 7. You know, if someone starts to win a couple of these in a row,
yeah,
the odds of a full swing comeback are so rare. They almost never happen.
It's very, very true. Actually, one other thing I do want to mention, because I know a lot of StarCraft fans will look at this and think like, well, this is the obvious counter to that. Like, why don't I have a lot of people when I cast Wraith games say, why doesn't he just make spores? And spores just don't cover enough area. Like, if you see a spore, you just avoid it. And the thing is, if there's one spore covering a mineral line and you have enough wraiths, you can trade 15 to 30 damage for a drone kill, which is a great trade. So each wraith worth of health would be 5 to 7 drones or something. So it's not so simple for Soma, right? Like that. I just want to throw that out there before we see a bunch more Wraith games where people are just sitting there and being like, "Why doesn't he just make spores?" It's like, no. It's not as good a counter as you think. It can be useful. It can definitely be useful, but it's not. It doesn't just counter Wraiths.
Yeah. It would feel like if you started to see spores, I think Terran's already lost. If you're in a position where like you're cowering behind spores against Wraiths, like I'm like, no, that's not like. You know, the question is no longer like, well, did you not get spores in time or did you not get enough? It's like, no, this was so over. If Wraiths are dominating the map that hard, you've probably already lost. Anyways, guys, we're going to go to game 2 here in this fight to get to the ASL Finals. Map number 2 on Jane Doe. Okay, Soma on the right and Leta on the left. I actually forgot to do this in game 1, so I'm going to do it now. Guys, quick plug here for the Patreon. Consider signing up and supporting us. We love this game. We love what we do. and we want to keep doing it forever. If you do sign up, we do a little mini podcast before every recording of ASL. Tastosis, I guess the file you sent them that actually played at the start.
You got to bring that up.
So I guess he hadn't edited that one out. So I guess some people got to hear what
I replaced it, but I accidentally sent the raw file of what we make in the morning instead of the edited one, which I did have. I just drag and drop the wrong one. But yeah, people got a little preview of that, so you can go to patreon.com/ASL English if you'd like to partake.
Yep, we would love for you to join. So we were saying earlier, like, this is probably the best Wraith opening map imaginable. You have a free base in the back of your base. There is neutral units that block the entrance to your main, and I like that. I look at these, like, what are these, like? They look like ASL perfume bottles almost.
Yeah,
he
I was going to say flask, but yeah. Oh, nice. Thank you so much for going down, guys. Thank you for all that support. Love to see you guys in the audience. So happy you could get some tickets.
Yeah. Yeah, like, so I wanted to mention, and we talked about this a little bit right at the start of the show, but, like, this is going to be hugely impactful for how all Zergs around the world behave against Wraith players. Because, like, the Wraith styles always existed, but we just don't really talk about it that much because we maybe have, like, one game every ASL where this is used. Sometimes ASLs where we really don't have Wraith games at all. And most of the time, the Wraith games are Leta anyways, right? And he normally doesn't go that deep. Normally, he dies out in the round of 24, the round of 16. But, the Wraith style for Zerg, it's tricky to play against. It creates a very, very different set of parameters that the Zerg has to deal with. Most of the game, you're just teching up. The Terran is trying to fast expand. And so, it's a bit of a slower early game unless the Zerg does some crazy cheese. With this style, the Zerg has to be very careful. If they don't have their overlords in the right spot, if they don't have the right counters to the Wraiths, the game can fall apart pretty fast. So a lot of Zerg players may struggle against Wraith-style play because you don't encounter it all the time. I think we've all played enough StarCraft games where you go, oh, he's doing this weird thing? Oh, I haven't played this in, like, a week or two. And whenever I play it, it's awkward. It's not like a normal game. I don't really remember how to handle it. But Soma, who may be the best Zerg in the whole world, is going to educate every active StarCraft player right now on how to approach this.
Yeah. I want to add one thing to what you were saying, because it's like, you mentioned that because you don't play against it too much, it's hard to really get a feel on it. It's not just that. It's also the fact when you play a guy who goes Wraith, they have such a gap on you experience-wise because they go Wraith like every game, a lot of these guys, right? So, like, they're used to doing it every game and they know all the branches, whereas you play against it maybe once a week, right? And that when you look at normal metagame, both players oftentimes have a similar amount of experience in the positions, so it's, like, pretty even. But, like, the thing is, Wraiths might actually just be a much weaker opener, but the guys who go Wraith just are they're so much more in tune with what's going on because they practice it all the time.
Yeah, exactly. You approach the game with this really obtuse style that, you're running over and over again on the ladder. And the other guy, half the time he doesn't know what he's up against, and he, kind of, because the position is so unusual, doesn't know how to play it out. By the way, in this game, I gotta say I'm a little bit surprised Leta went for 2-port Wraith before the expand. I guess in my mind, I thought he would expand first. But this means his Wraiths are going to be activated very quickly. But the real strength about this is it's going to be fast Wraith paired with a free command center. There's no way for Zerg to contest this, which is really scary. Again, I think if Leta's going to win tonight, he has to start with a win on this map.
100% on that. And the build he's doing is what I kind of expected. I have seen this build on this map a couple times, but it's like you basically open one port with a Wraith very quickly into your command center, into your second port, and the first Wraith just flies around and gets the overlords that are nearby, and you get cloak pretty quickly. So, like, it's the highest economy build that's still really 2-port Wraith. And so this is like, this really is the map, the time that Leta has to win. If he doesn't win this, Wraith builds aren't going to be working tonight. Like, he's going to have to change it up.
A lot of these openers from Terran sometimes they're hinged on trying to run up into the main. I believe this hatchery will not allow a vulture to go over the top of it. It might look like it fits in there, and to be honest with you, it's really hard to know in Brood War unless you've tested it out, because it can be deceptive. Things can look like they'll fit and they won't, or it'll look like things won't fit and they do, because this is a 27-year-old game. But that's why the hatchery in the Evo chamber are placed the way they are. Is someone knows that he has to have his structures in such a way that he can't be abused or tricked. This is super important. You do not want to lose the first Wraith to the Scourge. Just like in PvZ, you don't want to lose the first Corsair. It can just set you back for the entire game. And now we're going to see that third hatchery start at the top right. We have a drone over there, so I assume he's going to put that down. Yeah, he's going to do it right now.
Yeah, and there's no Overlords anywhere near Leta, so as soon as Cloak is done, he's pretty safe until Overlord speed is done and Overlords can travel over. As you mentioned, Overlords are slower than Wraiths and Mutas, so there's still counterplay to that. Like, if they were the same speed with speed, then this build would literally never work. Like, you need that. You need that differential. But you can see right now, Leta is just making a lot of missile turrets. He just wants to make sure he's not going to take damage. And what I'm very interested in here is how he transitions. Is he just going to go into like a biotank Wraith, which is the most common? Is he going to go into splash damage to deal with mutas? Like, you can go into Vessel from here. You can go into Valkyrie from here. Because again, he has 2 bases. So once he blocks this, he can kind of do whatever he wants.
Yeah, the Wraiths are just going to pool up over here. It's going to be pretty tough for someone to get in here. He is going to come in at this angle. The Wraiths are going to cloak immediately, and they're going to have a really nice punish there. You can see the Scourge are looking to try to dive on that. The Overlords are going to be the targets here.
I love to see it. I love those little shots as everything's running away and you kind of make them turn around for a second, but you've already turned around. It's like just getting that free damage. And that counts over time. Like, Zerg units heal, but it's a very slow heal because it does their full health over time. Whereas Wraiths, it's like Terran units can heal the quickest overall, but you have to spend things on it, right? Like, you have to spend money and you're losing some mining time and stuff, but he can instantly repair all his units up, and it's way cheaper than buying new ones. So that it's like a really important thing when you see him just get these extra shots off, because it's value that can compound over time.
You know, we should point out, and I don't know if we're going to have it in this game, but it is a thing that Zerg has to keep in mind. If Zerg starts to lose the fight, they will lose everything if the Wraiths are controlled correctly, because the Wraiths can both cloak and they can moving shot and move as fast as Mutalisks. Usually it's almost always the other way around, where it's the Mutas that win the fight and are able to chase him down. The Wraith cloak changes that a little bit. Wow, he's gonna go for a queen.
I love it.
He's gonna get ensnare, of course.
That is a great idea from him. Yeah, if someone can get ensnare down on the Wraiths when they're in the middle of the map, he'll kill all of them. But I don't think Leta's coming to the middle of the map. You see him adding 5 Raxes. There's no reason to move out with your Wraiths while you're doing this. It's like pretty clear. Oh, and he scans and sees the queen, so he's actually completely aware of the plan. I think that was a bit of a mistake, that he had the queen sitting there where you would scan to see if Hive's on the way. Like, it's an obvious scan.
He should never have that there.
Yeah.
He should have that, like, at the top. You know, like, I guess it's actually not that easy to hide, because, you know, if they send Wraiths in, they're going to see it. But he should not have had that there. That was the worst possible location to have it in. Zerg's on 3 bases. We've got the Defiler Mound coming along here as well. It's been a very, very slow game to start things off. We only had those mutas engaged there. He is going to go for Wraiths behind this. I'm sorry, a Science Vessel and Marines behind the Wraiths is what I meant to say.
Wraiths behind the Wraiths.
He's going to go Wraiths after Wraiths.
Yeah, that sounds like Leta.
Yeah, right. So, you know, the issue is you make all these Wraiths, and then your infantry count starts much, much later. I do think that it's easier for Zerg to hive tech up on this more quickly and not be interrupted, because you don't quite have the same kind of power there.
I am nervous for Leta because he's got no interaction with Soma, right? Like, he killed like an Overlord and that's about it. Okay, gets a good ensnare off here, but there is a decent amount of bio. A lot of Lings come in with this as well. He is targeting as best he can. Actually doesn't pick off the Vessel, which I find interesting. I thought for sure that would be one of the Scourge targets. But he is going after these Wraiths, just trying to finish them off. And the Wraiths somewhat get away. Look at the Lings, though. The Lings just clear out everything. Uh-oh, Tasteless. This is not looking good for Leta.
Oh, my God. Oh. I don't think he canceled that, dude.
Oh,
I think
no.
I think the Lings just killed it. I mean, if he canceled it, it was literally at the last second. There's no way we would have been able to tell. But, wow. I mean, 4th base up here at 12. Leta basically lost everything that he built up to. You know, it's funny. You can know ensnare's coming if you're out and that ensnare connects onto the Wraiths. I mean, you know, he lost horribly back there. And again, you can't just go back and make more Wraiths this game.
No.
That's not really how Terran work. Once you've teched into this phase of the game, you're kind of back into infantry. And this is where Zerg just has a huge advantage.
Yeah, once you actually have your Ultralisks upgraded, by the way, which is what he's going for right now, the Wraiths deal 1 damage to Ultras. So you're completely right. You cannot go into Wraiths anymore from here. Like, he's got to probably make vessels. Maybe he wants to try to go to battle cruisers, but those are going to be too slow here, in my opinion. Everything looking just terrible for Leta. And he's committed to 2 engineering bays, right? So, like, it looks like he wants to go for, like, a more standard Marine Medic Science vessel. But, like, you have to be able to gain map control, and he hasn't done that even once. He's barely gotten outside of his natural this game.
I think that this is where the game's probably going to end.
Yeah.
He will be able to, I mean, well, maybe he gets 1 irradiate off, but I think there's 2, yeah, there's 2 defilers here.
Oof.
There's quite a bit of fire bats. This is kind of a funny moment here. There's 5 fire bats out here, so I guess you do have to respect that. But, you know, if 1 Dark Swarm can get to where the barracks are, or to where the natural expansion is soon to be, it's floating there right now, I think the game is over. I do not think you can survive this.
Yeah, and with Soma going up to 5 base, a 6 in the bottom right, it makes it even tougher. Plague grinding is going to begin as well, and that's something that Soma's very, very good at. I know we talked about during Jaedong's match that that's not like one of his big skills in Zerg vs. Terran, but Soma's really good at just sitting there and farming plagues over and over and over to whittle you down. And yeah, like Ultras added in against plagued units. It's bad, man. I think Leta is very close to being done here.
Yeah, I mean, this is so rough, man. Again, you know, Leta has to figure out how to make something happen with his Wraiths. He has to figure out some way to slow the Zerg down. And frankly, someone just plays an extremely safe game. He basically tries to come in and poke, and then he disengages until he has ensnare. You know, and it didn't seem like there was any moment where someone was able to move out on the map. We've got the Ultras coming in here now. There's not a lot of Lings with this, and I think that Soma may be a little bit too ready to end this game before he's actually there. You know, you need to have a lot more Lings with that. So
it seems like Soma here is like just trying to get Leta out of the game, which is dangerous in a tournament. Because that didn't make sense if you look at the upgrades. So basically +4 carapace on the Ultra is equal to +2 attack on the Marines. But he had +3 carapace and he attacked, which means it's really one-sided. So it's like 5 lines up with 3, 4 with 2, and you don't ever fight before that, really. So that's like, it's really important that you have those upgrades or it goes really, really into one favor when you're talking about Ultras against Marines.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, Soma, the problem for Leta is that Soma's now on 5 bases. I'm sorry, he's actually about to be on 6 bases here. Yeah. And I don't really see a world where he's going to be able to push or attack out here or really get anything done. And yeah, I mean, you know, Soma, you know, we've talked about the fact that Terran don't get a lot of bases on this map, right? Like, you know, I'm sorry, I have to flip that, actually. Zerg don't get a lot of bases, right? There's not a ton of map to take, but it kind of doesn't matter if you're teched out this far along. Like, he's literally taken every base that he's supposed to have on the map right now, Soma has.
Yeah, the combination of Defiler Ultra is just too much for Terran Bio to deal with. He's adding an armory, so there's definitely, he is thinking about something else, and that could be Battlecruiser, although I think it's too late for that. It could be +1 for siege tanks. Maybe he tries to go heavy siege tank with this. The thing is, he's so far behind right now. Like, Zerg has twice as many bases. You can't play a position like that. That doesn't work. He's going to throw out some great irradiates, but yeah, eventually Soma's just going to break through. Oh, his medics didn't come. Tastosis. Most relatable moment of this ASL.
He's got these Marines over here in the back. I mean, I guess this is somewhat of a disruption.
Yeah.
I guess he's going to try to transfer them up over there. I mean, Leta's still pumping out quite a bit. It's all going to come down to whether or not Soma can get over here and get some Dark Swarms laid in that area. There is a world where Leta just kind of, hunkers down, keeps trying to push out, eventually takes some bases on his side of the map. I mean, we were saying earlier, like, Soma has now taken everything that he can realistically take. There is a world where, like, maybe he takes the bottom and maybe he takes the upper left. Maybe that would be very hard to pull off. But, Terran, they need less spaces than Zerg at this phase of the game.
That is true.
So it's always possible, if he can just kind of slowly push out and Soma continues to trade unfavorably, maybe there's a world where he can pull something off.
He just irradiated an Overlord by accident there. Just going to surround this. Leta's going to GG from this, I think. This is getting to be, like, comically bad. Like, I understand you're in ASL round of 4 and you don't want to go, but, like, every single move out he does is getting absolutely crushed, not even close to doing anything. Like, I mean, every Terran has been in positions like this where you just know that you're dead. Another plague goes down, losing vessels. It's just...
he just right-clicks it through because the damage just destroys the plague Marines. There's more Ultras over here than there were Marines that tried to move out on the map. And, I love the one Ultralisk basically hold positioned underneath this command center because he doesn't want to let this land. Terran is going to run out of resources if they don't start to expand pretty quickly here. Both the main and the back, interior base are going to dry up pretty soon.
Oh, man. Losing some SCVs there. Still, Leta is up 1 upgrade. Eventually, Soma will catch up since the upgrades, cap. He's sieging... dude, like, it's kind of funny because it's like he's setting up in BGH or something, but his minerals are going to run out, unlike in BGH. So, no matter how many tanks you put on your ledge, you're going to run dry. It's eventually not going to work out for you in this game. Look at how many Ultras he has chasing a single dropship. I always wonder when someone stays in a game like this. I'm like, this can't be good mentally. Like, you're so dead. You're so dead. Everything you do is going to be smashed. And you're letting your opponent just continue to warm up and feel confident. Like, I would never... Like, if I was his coach, I'd be like, no, you can't stay in a game like this. Just get out. You know that no one can come back here.
Yeah. He's going to send in more Ultralisks. And I got to say, man, with that many tanks up there, you cannot push into that. The tanks do not have to respect the Dark Swarm. So he's going to, hemorrhage a couple more Ultras here. Soma is now starting to get some very deep pockets. He was at 2K minerals and almost 1.5K gas. He just spent all of the gas. It's too bad he's not trading very well into this, but it also kind of doesn't really matter because Terran cannot get out and take this base. Like, he's on so many bases now and getting so much stuff that, Terran kills all those Ultralisks, decides to move out again, and once more the Ling Ultra is going to come in again. No Dark Swarm, doesn't matter.
And this is just a portion of his army. More army will be coming up, and the thing is, he can remake army very, very quickly here as well. The siege tanks are doing, like, pretty reasonably. Siege tanks can do pretty well against Ultras once you get really big numbers of them. But, like, Soma has the whole map. He has everything. He's taking every base. He's taking top left. He's taking bottom center. Like, all these bases that should be for Leta. Soma is ending up taking, and... Yeah. Okay. There we go. GG's call.
There we go.
That was rough. That was painfully one-sided. It's too bad because that was his first map choice. He had a good build for it, but he just kind of sat in his base. Soma got up into his tech really well, and it never felt like Leta had a chance.
It was rough, man. You know, the early game was kind of interesting. It's too bad that he even scanned and saw the ensnare was there, but it didn't really matter because the ensnare got off onto the Wraiths. You know, Leta, we were saying that might be the best map for him to do that kind of Wraith tech, but honestly, Artosis, he didn't really get anything done with it. It never even felt like there was a moment in the game where he was able to try to do anything, right? He just like basically made 11 Wraiths to try to take a third base and then lost everything to ensnare.
Yeah. It was bad. That one ensnare, I guess, really, I actually kind of forgot about that, but that really did smash him when that occurred. We're going to go to Octagon for set number 3. I'm hoping that Leta can take a map now. If, like, obviously, if you go down 0-3, the amount of comebacks I can count on one hand in a best of 7, a reverse sweep, that is. But, yeah, Soma's looking really, really strong. Leta completely struggling.
Yeah, I mean, Leta's style is kind of coming up against a wall. It just doesn't... First of all, game 1, he was struggling to get anything done. Game 2, look, he got his opener off, right? I mean, whatever he wanted to do, he should have been able to take it to the moment where he can then activate it and try to do something. And, like, nothing happened.
Yeah.
Guys, nothing happened in game 2 with Leta. He just sat there, got the units he wanted, and then lost them all to ensnare. That's a bad sign.
Yes. Yes.
Okay, cross spawns. Soma in the top left and Leta in the bottom right.
Okay.
I think Soma, excuse me, I think he requested the light get turned off. I think the players had lights on him earlier. I know they do, in some cases, if the player complains, allow for the lights to be taken off. So sometimes we get these players, like shots of them in the dark over there.
There's something nice about being in the dark on a PC. Like, if I'm not doing some sort of streaming, like when I'm doing streaming or something, I have the light on in here as well as lights that light me up to make the camera look better. Any other time, I have all the lights off. And my wife will walk in just like, why are you in the dark? I'm like, this is how StarCraft is meant to be played.
Yeah, it's cozy. It's nice to kind of just have the light of your computer screen there and the whole room's dark and quiet. Yeah, so into this game, you know, Leta's gone for Wraiths every time. He stayed true to his face. I think that's Wraith Flaming Skull back there. There was a drawing of that. Leta's true name.
It's the name his mother gave him.
That's right. But, you know, nothing's worked so far. In fact, to be honest, guys, nothing's even really happened. I mean, we had a little bit of a back and forth in game 1, but game 2, yeah, I mean, there never seemed to be a moment that Leta was able to do anything.
And he's once again going for the fast gas. He's walling in his main base. This is a really nice change, by the way, that's occurred this season, is that most of these bases have really quality ling-tight walls you can do in your mains, which is like a big difference to what we've had in the past. It's almost never the case. It's like you might get like one lucky base that can ling-tight wall. But this has been as a Terran player, I have to say, a very welcome change. It gives more variety to how you can open. So kind of nice for him that he can make this and, you know, go up his tech route. But it is cross spawn. I don't know what his plan is going to be. I hope it's not just to go to Port Wraith, because if that's it, Soma's already been dealing with that pretty well.
I think it's going to be that, Artosis. I was going to say it would maybe be worth it in one game to just go for mech, like some kind of expand play into mech where you might not. I mean, I certainly don't think of mech when I think of Leta, right? But that would be a neat curveball to maybe go for.
Yeah,
but
maybe.
I mean, right now we see the factory. It's one base. Gosh, you got to imagine this is going to be a Wraith build.
I think so. Like, he had 2 left on gas as he started factory, and that always points towards Starport. So I think you're right on that. But if he goes 2-port Wraith here, part of the problem is the travel distance is really far as well. And far travel distance is just better for the defender generally. Like you can't put on any real aggression there. So like his Wraiths are going to take so long to get across the map and try to actually harass. And then he's got to like choose where to go. Does he go to the further main base or does he go to the more likely defended natural base?
He did have 2 SCVs on gas for a little bit. I don't know if that was a mistake or not. And he is going to go for a factory with an add-on. Yeah. An SCV is going to go all the way to the top right corner. And what is he going to make? Could it be like another... Couldn't be another starport, right? Wait, what is he making? Oh, no, he hasn't started yet. Excuse me.
Yeah, I saw his screen flick up there. So he's definitely aware that that's there. It's not like a misclick or something. Maybe he has some sort of secret strat. Here, it's clearly, it's not 2-port Wraith. I think he might go like Vulture Speed here, is my guess. Maybe it's like a Vulture Speed plus drop type situation. Yeah, that's the only thing I can really think of. And you know what? That's a build that might pick up a victory, right? Like you can, sometimes you get your Vultures in and they're not quite ready and you kill like every drone. You get so many drones and they're in a huge amount of trouble then. So who knows? And that SCV at the top right, there has to be some purpose for that. I mean, I guess it could be like scouting later on, but I wouldn't be surprised if he does something like hides a base. Makes it look like he's one base all in, but he's actually trying to get another base, something like that.
Dude, I think he's doing it. Yeah, SCV just moved to the starting location.
Yeah.
In the top right. And he's got 400 minerals. This has got to be a command center.
Okay, this Zergling just saw speed. This is a good map for run-bys because the wall is really difficult to do at the front. There's like so many holes in it. And you can see how many buildings he's trying to utilize here. The sunken reach is over here, though. So he kills like a couple drones, I guess, but loses his vultures, which is going to make this drop a little bit weaker as well.
Yeah. I do love the hidden base. I think it's super smart. You know, this is in a lot of these Wraith games, the Overlords all get chased back, so there's a lot more blind spots on the map overall. The drop is going to come in and try to do damage, but, you know, the Mutalisks are going to basically hatch when this gets in there.
He's dodged Overlords with the dropship, so maybe... Like, sometimes people wait for the Mutas to fly across the map. Okay, he's not going to do that. He's just going to get in, and Burrow's already done, so...
Yeah, I forgot about Burrow, man. Burrow's so strong against tricky play like this because you're just like, nope, we're not going to lose anything now.
He's gotten 1 drone so far. Maybe he'll get a second. The Vultures are fast, but no, that one gets picked off. Sends this one over to the natural. Gets some damage, but... I don't... Okay, he got like 2 drones with that. He's killed maybe... Excuse me, maybe 4 drones this game? Oh, and of course, into 2-port Wraith.
Yeah, he's gonna stick with what works for him. He's destined to go 2-port Wraith no matter what. The problem is this is off the back of an opening that didn't really do a whole lot.
It's very true. But he has snuck the expansion top right. So that does change how you play. Like, if you know they're on 1 base, you're going to play a more conservative game. And then he might end up surprising him. You know? Like, okay, so think about game 1, okay, where he was quite sure, okay, this is a 1-base Wraith build, and he just kept going Mutalisks. Now, because Leta's on 2 base, he could do something, like get an armory, get +1 air attacks, and make some Valkyries. Like, if we had game 1, but you injected 3 Valkyries into it, Leta wins.
Yeah. I mean, it's going to be... It's just hard to imagine how this is going to pan out. I think the only way that this can work here for Leta is if we have a much slower game than I think what Soma's expecting. He can basically take full advantage of this top right base, which I don't think it's going to be scouted for a while. There's an Overlord nearby there. Sometimes in situations like that, you don't even bother to check, right? It can be hidden right under your nose. And if Terran can take this late 3rd base at the natural, so basically someone will think Leta's on an extremely late base and maybe not feel pressure to attack in or do anything.
Yeah.
Maybe that's where Leta can start to try to win this, because it is really... It messes you up so badly when you have a misread on how many bases your opponent's on. The longer a hidden base is up, the worse it is, because you'll be behaving like you're just ahead enough that you're going to win the game when they're actually even with you. And it's especially bad for Zerg because Zerg is supposed to always be ahead in a base. If you're even on bases for long enough, you probably end up losing the game. So let's see if Leta can pull that off.
So far, so good. He's getting his gas up there. He's getting ready to take this base. It is cross spawn. He's actually... Part of the reason why this might end up working is because it is cross spawn, right? Like, his defensive capabilities are enhanced a little bit, so he can kind of take this base. Everything just looks to... Especially after those first 2 games, if I'm Soma, I'm like, damn, I'm crushing you, man. This is easy finals for me. But yeah, right now, the way that Leta has done this with that hidden base, I think he can transition into like a ridiculous mid game from here because he's going to be mining on 3 bases. That is so uncommon at 9 minutes for Terran.
Yeah. Well, I think this might be his best shot right now. And I think, by the way, when you're Leta, you got to take it 1 game at a time, right? I mean, just try to win this next game. Bring whatever's your best. The game after that. Going to be hard to get this turret up, by the way. He has to set an SCV all the way around the side to basically get anything built over there. And I think now there's enough over here. You cannot do much more as Soma.
Yeah, I think it's good to leave that alone and, you know, maybe go into Ensnare again, maybe just go into regular army units. I'm not sure what his overall plan for a more normal-looking game is, like this one. But right now, as far as Leta goes, he is getting a science facility, so we'll definitely see some irradiates and science vessels. He's adding a lot of barracks right now. So, you know, he's going to be able to get into a pretty strong mid-game push. And there's the Queen again. I love the Queen.
Yeah, no, the Queen is... I think it's a must. I think it is a total, all-encompassing solution for the Wraith play. It's funny, too, because the Queen was, like, almost never used in the entire history of StarCraft. But I always felt like it was a pretty good unit. Like, it definitely had, you know, a role if you could just figure out what to use it for. But you can see in these very unique tech games, like, it's a great solution for Wraiths. Because Wraiths are already weak. The only thing they've got going for them is the cloak that helps them get away. But once an Ensnare connects on them, they're all going to die.
Dude, look at this. He's one-shotting Overlords. Jinx.
Oh, my God. Can he one-shot the Queen?
Oh, he dodges the Ensnare. Are you kidding me? That is huge. And he kills the other Overlord as well. He's going to save this base, Tasteless. 82 of 36 supply for Soma. He is mega supply blocked. Like, oh my God, huge. And he has scan now, so you can't even hide underground with these Lings.
But are there enough Mutalisks? He's going to try to get another turret here. And, I mean, right now, someone's going to go for a kill move here. He wants to try to trap him. The Wraiths are going to leave, so then this base is going to go down. So, Leta's base has been discovered. He did get to keep that for, like, about half the game here. Unfortunately, the SCVs are not going to be able to get back home as easily.
Is he making mass dropships right now?
Is he?
He might be. Like, I saw one dropship, and normally if you have one and it's not moving out, you're making mass dropships. But I don't know for sure because obviously this is all brand new stuff coming out of Leta. But that could be kind of an interesting idea as well. Like, you come out with your push and acting like you're going to attack the front, and then suddenly, bam, big drop in the main. And this is one of the cool things about Wraiths is you remove so much of the intel on the map from Zerg. You know, you're killing Overlords everywhere. They're good anti-Scourge so that your dropships can make it through. Nah, he's making vessels. He does have one dropship, though. See, there it is. I guess that's just the dropship from the Vultures before, actually, now that I think about it.
Well, it's 3-base Ultra. Very different from the Ultra Tech we had before. I mean, someone was on 6 bases by the time the Ultra Tech kicked in here. A decent number of SCVs were picked off, but I think Leta did get a little bit of a boost here as far as workers and income and everything else, right? I mean, you know, he had that third base for a long time, and it did go unpunished. The dropship's going to come through here. Does he want to just drop that, or is he going to go into the main?
Oh, boy. I wouldn't mind him denying that base, but at the same time, he actually needs to kill because his composition isn't really right to end up winning this game long-term.
Right.
He's already playing against Ensnare Ultra. It's like basically a weird game of Crazy Zerg, kind of. Now, here goes the drop into the main base.
This is just mentally ill Zerg. It's not fully crazy.
Okay, that might be a fake, I guess. Nothing in the dropship.
Is it empty?
Yeah, it must be. It must be.
Yeah. That's crazy. So he's just going to go across the map and try to kill us. I think this might actually work. Dude, I think Leta might win his first game.
Yeah, I think he might as well. The Ensnare is going to be really important. Oh, he actually snipes the Queen before it can get any spells off. A lot of irradiates. Dude, this looks really good for Leta right now. His Ultra is losing a ton of health.
More Ultras up next to the Extractor. I had not seen that before. The Wraiths are going to come in here. I mean, the infantry lineup looks really good, dude.
Yeah.
I mean, this is not a ton. The Mutas are going to come in here with the rest of this. The Wraiths can, of course, fight the Mutas very nicely. I think that Leta just won his first game. Dude, he just beat Soma. This is so crazy.
Okay, thank God. I was getting really nervous for him, but this is a huge, huge result here. That hidden base definitely paid off. Soma was not reading the position well enough, I guess. And watching him one-shot the Overlords is so big. Like, he keeps supply blocking him. It's like watching Bisu play a PvZ or something. You know what? I do wonder, though, because it was a hidden base game. I don't think you can hide another base, right? Like, Soma's going to be really on the lookout for that now.
That is an issue, right? I mean, it's that did work, but, you know, you need to have a real array of different techniques and styles to win a series this big. But look, a win is a win. He takes his first game. I think we're moments away from Soma tapping out. He's going to send the last few Ultras in here, and basically he's bleeding off Ultras. He's not pooling them anymore.
And the Wraith's dealing so much damage up here. You can see that Spore. He made a Spore. Look at how he flew out of range of it. It's not affecting the Wraith harass.
When the Spores come down, Zerg's going to be in trouble.
Yes, that was a good call.
Zerg still has. Oh my!
Oh, that's so funny. He knows where to scan.
Is that
to
like
look for
every
overlords?
remaining Overlord in the game? I think it is. I think he's gonna go to like
46
he's gonna
go
to 4. Yeah. Okay. GG. Unreal. Leta takes a game. That was massive, but it was off that hidden base.
It was. That was a huge part.
I don't know how many times in a best of 7 you can just hide bases. You know, it's. I think it's a great move in a series, and I'm glad he won with it, but probably can't use that again.
Yeah. That's a one-time use, and we'll see what he has planned for these other maps. But that was a good plan. I like that. That's the type of plan that you need to bring here. That was unexpected. Soma will be on the lookout for that. He'll probably just shift-click a Ling at some point. We'll try to point it out when we see it in the next game. I forget what the next map is, but it's not 2-player. Match Point was the last map. So I believe it might be Polestar, which is pretty normal. So we'll see how that one's going to go. Yep, Polestar coming up next. Quick commercial break, though, and then we'll see, can Leta continue this comeback?
Welcome back, everybody. We've got ourselves a series. Leta has won his first game. Has he started his comeback?
I hope so. I hope that we get this to be a really nice, close series. I think that was some great planning that he utilized in that last game. But I guess it's, in a way, it's good that I don't kind of know what the next tricks and plans are, right? Because if I did, it's too obvious, and Soma should have thought of those things as well. I didn't really think about going 2-port Wraith and having a hidden base, right? Like, that never occurred to me, and it definitely never occurred to Soma. So that's the type of thinking and planning that Leta needs if he's going to take this series home.
Yeah, I'm in the same position as you are, Tastosis. I don't know why it didn't occur to me at all.
No, not at all.
That a third base was out of the question. Yeah, I mean, and then I look at it and I went, yeah, of course. Why would you not? Of course he was going to do that. But, you know, hidden bases, you basically never see hidden bases work more than once in a best of 5, in a best of 7. And it does still seem like basically Soma knows how to handle the Wraith tech.
Yeah, he's very good against it. Like, he's just playing into a position where it forces Leta to do something. Most Zergs actually just take a flock of Overlords with them when speed is finished and go over and try to get damage. I think he's, during his testing, decided that, no, like, their timing attacks aren't going to be as strong. I'm just going to sit back and play a normal game and deal with what comes out of it. And that, I mean, it's worked in a couple games, but in this one with the hidden base, it did not. So that's why I'm a little bit nervous still for Leta, because if you can't hide another base, you do need to do something to Zerg. It doesn't seem realistic to sit there, make 11 Wraiths, move out with an attack, and kill him. Doesn't seem realistic.
No, that can't be it.
Yeah,
I know that is an inevitability with Wraith tech, is that because, you know, there's a point where you don't want to have 24 Wraiths, you know, or 30 Wraiths or something. 11 is the number. You can have an SCV or something else hotkeyed in that group, and you can treat them like Mutalisks and micro them around. But to me, it seems like there should be some kind of damage done to the Zerg with the Wraith build before you get the kill. It seems like that has to be it. And what happened the last game was the free base got enough of a boost that push actually did it. But otherwise, I'm just not sure what exactly Leta has planned here. You know, Soma's approach so far has been boring, and that's kind of good. Instead of really trying to engage, he just doesn't do anything. He just takes a third base and techs, gets Mutalisk armor. He has that one poke that he does that Tastosis was talking about, which is fine. But then he just stays back and gets in snare and waits for you to move out. And you know, if there's not a direct answer to that from Leta, I think he will eventually lose out here, because this is becoming a very formulaic series.
It is so far. It really is. Like, I'm kind of going through my head. I feel like Leta might want to do something like an 8 racks here. The thing is, I fear that he would do like an 8 racks into Wraith, but I almost feel like it's Polestar. It's really normal. Go for 8 racks, wall into expansion. Like, get a bigger economy and then go into whatever it is you want to do. That's kind of my gut feeling here, is to mix it up a little bit in that way.
I feel like he has to do something that's a different tech here. I think it's fine to go for Wraiths most of these games. I don't think you can do it every game. But let's see. Right now, Leta winning his first game. Game 4 is ready to go. We're going to go to the map Polestar here. Soma vs. Leta continues on. The winner moving on to the finals here of Season 21 of the ASL. Okay, Soma here in the top right, and Leta in the bottom left. Cross spawns again.
Okay. Yeah, I don't know that will work into his favor this time, but we'll see. You know, Leta's no dummy. You know, he definitely has a very specific style that he wants to play in, but I think he's a pretty smart player overall. I think he's really aware of his strengths and his limitations, which I think is one of the most important things to be aware of in StarCraft. And so I'm kind of trusting that he can. I like that. It's like lose and then 4 wins in a row. I think he is going to have decent plans for the rest of these sets as well.
I've always wondered, is he... I guess the entire time I've watched Leta, he's just always done this, which is fascinating because there's nothing wrong with liking Wraith Tech, but this game is so old. Like, we've all been playing this game for so long. I always thought he would have expanded his techniques, right?
Mm-hmm.
Like, you can be someone, okay, you're really good at this kind of cheese, but you can't always do that, right? Then eventually you got to learn the macro style. Then eventually you got to learn, like, how to go mech or how to, rush for carriers or how to go for crazy Zerg or all these off-brand styles. But here we are. Leta's never deviated from this. And he's here in the round of 4 of an ASL. In one of the most competitive, best ASLs we've ever had.
Yeah. Oh, he did well to get here. You can point out things like he played Tolbo in the previous round, but played a bunch of the world's best Terrans in the round before that and won. So, guy's definitely playing well. Now, looking at this game, Leta's walling his main and going for tech, which is what we've seen basically every single game. But Soma has gone pool first. And if he goes pool first, like 6 lings, and it's cross spawn against tech, that's a very good opener for Leta. That's kind of like similar to an 8 racks pushing and getting a few drones, Like it's reasonable. The hatchery is slower for Soma. Instead of drones, he's made lings earlier on. He's going to have less larva. So this is so far the best opener for Leta, I would say, that we've seen.
And, with Soma, I just think he's going to continue to be a very reactive Zerg. I mean, I never like to say that, this guy knows for sure he's going to do this because he does this every time. But I do feel like it is kind of true with Soma. Like, we have to expect some kind of Wraith Tech or some kind of tech coming up here. For now, it's going to be that factory coming along here. I guess with Leta's build, and maybe you tell me, Tastosis, because I don't know the ins and outs of this stuff with Terran. Do you always have 2 on gas and then go back to 3 to go for Wraiths?
Yes. You have to get like a few more minerals in there. But anytime you see them pull just 1 off gas while making the factory against, really, I guess against anyone, it means Starport.
Wow, look at this.
Ooh, okay. That's a very quick Hydralisk Den. This is a really doable game for Leta. 2 hatch Hydra has to catch him off guard. It's honestly not a very good build against 1 base tech. Like, it can catch you. Absolutely, Hydras can show up and kill you. But, like, he's going to have a Vulture out here already. And if you catch wind of it at all, you simply make, like, a bunker and they can never break through.
Yeah, Hydras are hilariously bad against bunkers. It's one of the funny matchups you can have in the game where you might not have even thought about these 2 things interacting, but, the Hydras just don't do that much damage that quickly. Crazy surround. He got the Vulture. That's massive.
Did he get out of vision? Oh my god, he got out of vision range with that SCV. That means the SCV can go scout the Hydralisk Den. That's amazing for Leta. That is so good for Leta. Because this is all you need, is you just need to see it. He was making a layer and then he just canceled it out as well. Dude, Soma's build is garbage now. It's complete and utter trash. Like, Leta will hold this easily. He'll be way ahead. I think Leta's going to tie up the series with this game.
This is wild. So he canceled the layer that was scouted and then remade the layer in the natural. There's some crazy mind games going on here. When I saw him cancel it, I was like, what? The layer is a must-have, but I guess that would be confusing from Leta's perspective. So he's still going to try to tech up. I don't even know that he wants to make more Hydras and go attack. He has these ones that he started with.
Mm-hmm.
But, like, the bunker's going to be up there. that Terran knows the answer.
Yes. Well, I think that's why he canceled the layer and then restarted, because he's like, okay, this plan isn't going to work. But the thing is, you cannot hide information from Wraith Flaming Skull Tasteless. Like, he has wraiths, and they can fly through your base and see whatever they need to see.
He might be Wraith Flaming Skull.
Yeah.
He might be Wraith Flaming Skull, but the skull has eyes that can see on it, okay? It's not the kind of skull where there's just holes there.
Or it's like Magic Sight. Who knows? I don't know. But he definitely is scouting everything out with this Wraith. And, like, this is huge intel. Just seeing what his opponent's making, it's like, oh, okay, you're droning. You have like 2 Hydras. I think he's probably getting Siege right now. Like, I saw that spinning. He saw that a Spire is on the way as well. This is the perfect type of game for Leta. This is Leta's domain that we're in right now.
Dude, this is going to be crazy. If he goes up 2-2.
Yeah.
I mean, that's wild. Look, it's just like I was saying earlier. You got to take each game one at a time here, right? I mean, the hidden base worked, but this was a moment where Soma picked a really cheesy strategy. Honestly, I didn't think that he even needed to do this at all. I think Soma could play maybe one of the most basic, slow ZVTs out there, but he did come in here with this curveball of a build, and the problem is that Leta got that SCV around there. He saw that there was no layer at all, or I guess you could say mutatech, right? So he immediately knew what to do. Now, the game's going to go on, and I do think that Soma is still a pretty dangerous player to be playing against, even in a situation like this, but this is a much, much, much more manageable game for Leta.
Yeah. No, this has worked out so well for him. Adds his second port now. Love it. Love to see it. His decision branches are just more developed with Wraith builds than anyone else's in the world because of how often he does them. And you can see, like, he's got his expansion up. He's up 20 supply right now. He kills that Scourge really effectively with that Wraith. And yeah, like, Soma, I wonder what you do as Soma here to try to come back. So, like, he made the Spire. He's making a few Scourge. Okay, that kind of makes sense. He got Overlord speed. Okay, of course you need that. But does he go, like, a Hydraling Lurker? Does he... Like, I feel like that's it. I feel like right now you're getting Carapace upgrade. You make sure he already has Hydra speed. He already has Ling speed. He should get Lurkers and Hydra range and just, like, mass up and see if he can't just, like, win a fight. Because I can't think of too much else. Well, I guess he's going to Hive, so... Defilers do fix everything in the game. So that's fair.
Yeah, or ruin everything in the game depending on what race you're playing at the time.
It's true. It's true.
They really are either the best or the worst part of this game, honestly.
Yeah.
I think the Defiler is literally the best unit that's ever been made in an RTS game.
It is.
Like, can you imagine if this game just came out and we had, like, Reddit and, all these other things?
Oh, yeah. No, it would be nerfed into
Doomer
hell.
YouTuber videos. I mean, people would be like, this has to go. There's no way we can allow this thing to be in the game.
And the funny thing about that, Tasteless, just one more point, is that, like, I've played some of these RTS games where you make, like, a god unit that costs way too much money. And the Defiler would just beat those. It's like, yeah, Darkstorm, get wrecked. It's like, oh, you have a lot of health? How about Plague? Recharge Plague. Like, get out of here. The unit
like
is ridiculous.
If you don't have the mana for it, it's like, oh, well, it can eat anything on its side, including the most expendable unit in the game. You're like, oh, well, surely there's at least a cooldown on that. It's like, no.
No? What are you talking about?
No, there's no cooldown at all on that.
My God. So you're saying only specially designated melee units, not based on range, but specially designated melee units are the only ones that hit under the spell? Yes. Surely it's only 5 seconds.
So funny.
You guys tell we're not Zergs? My God.
Yeah. Oh, my God. So he's doing a great job sniping. Gets another drone there. Now, the Wraiths are getting damage done. Like, we were mentioning earlier, you can one-shot drones as long as the shots are all synced up with this many Wraiths. So... you can really see, like, this is a problem right now. Soma is getting beat up here, and we know that there's going to be this inevitable push. Now, I think he has to finish before Consume finishes. I'm sorry, he has to push before Consume finishes. So he probably needs to move out pretty soon.
His bio count's really low right now, though. Like... Yeah, he just doesn't have too much. He has, like, a lot of Raxes. He has a good siege tank count. I think Leta's still fine though. Like, I don't think he's going to kill Soma quickly, but he has the right tools to win this game. Like, he's got a decent, like, he's got some siege tanks. We already saw in the Jane Doe game that he's very willing to make a lot of fire bats, and that's going to help him a lot because when the Defilers first come out defending, it's all Dark Swarm, not Plague. And during that little moment, like, the fire bats really do well.
So we've got armor here on the Hydras. The Defiler tech's up. Now, I'm a little bit worried here because even though Leta could win in like an endgame scenario, it seems like Soma's going to be so healthy on Defiler tech, right? I mean, he should be able to get another base up pretty easily. Soma is expanding to the bottom right, which I don't know that the Wraiths are ever going to be able to scout that. They should be too busy harassing. By the way, Zerg is going to just move out here and I think just try to Dark Swarm Cloud the expansion.
He can't let that happen. I'm surprised he hasn't moved further forward yet. Like, you do have to move out, like, and he actually does need to figure out about bottom right. That's important. The 4th base is where this actually becomes Soma favored. On 3 base, I'm actually still happy for Leta in this game, but he's going to need to stop that 4th.
Oh boy, Dark Swarm is down. Oh my God. Oh, the tanks, all the Marines. He does actually get away. He doesn't lose as many tanks as I thought he was going to lose. The Defiler was killed. But you can see that there's going to be more rallied down here. You know, this is a funny game, Tastosis, because it just seems like Leta had a real layup.
Yes.
And then he almost went back to playing this game as if that opening didn't happen.
Yeah. Soma's opening was garbage. Like, he had to drone for a long time, and Leta didn't really keep too much pressure on him. And he's taken so long to move out against someone that was going Defiler tech already. Like, you against Defilers, you have to have map control. The second you don't have it, everything dies. Like, they just push in and kill all your bases and do things like this. And it's... So, suddenly this game is actually going towards Soma, which is just crazy. I'm kind of shocked that this is the way this has gone down. I don't think Leta has played this well. Like, he was playing it well, and then he just, like, sat there.
This is an odd move here, too, to kind of have this small force move out on the map.
Yeah.
Because this isn't going to get anything done. So he basically gave away half his army there and has been destabilized at the entrance. He's going to drop the vessel here, too. You know, if you were to tune into this game right now, you would never know this was even the kind of opening that it was. This was Wraith opening into a scouted 2-hatch Hydra.
Yes.
But right now it looks like a totally normal game where that never happened.
And Leta's so far back, it looks like a totally normal game that went wrong for Terran. Because, like, here's the thing. There's no reason why Soma gained map control so quickly. Like, I mean, he was harassing with the Wraiths and adding a lot of barracks. Like, he powered really hard, Leta did. But it's just he didn't move out in any reasonable time frame. He didn't keep tabs on where all the units were, really. And now I think we're actually, like, Soma's very close to ending this now. This one is actually much more depressing than the other games. Because this was one where Leta could have won.
Tragic.
Yeah.
This is, I think that Leta's chances now to move on are almost to zero, just because you see the way this game went.
Yeah.
And it was almost like, you know, he was a bit of a deer in headlights here. You know, this was I think a very simple game. I don't know the exact in and outs of how Terran's supposed to play to close this out, but it's certainly not to sit back.
Yeah.
And not push. I mean, we went from a Zerg that was so all in to a Zerg abandoning the rush and just going right into Hive Tech and having Defilers throw Dark Swarm outside the natural. You can't let that happen.
Yeah, I think he did get his Hive Tech a little bit quicker than maybe is expected, but the Wraiths are flying around. Like, Leta had information.
Right.
At this point, like, obviously it's completely unwinnable for Leta. But this one, yeah, this one is sadder than even the Jane Doe game, where it's like, you can't hope at this level to have a better advantage after openers. You know, it's very rare. Like he had the fact that it was a pool first against a walled tech, GG. And then he scouted the Hydralisk den. Two hatch Hydra is like, I was telling you as we saw it, it's like, well, it can catch you, but if you have any sniff of it, like it's screwed. It's a terrible build. And he found it right away. And it's like, oh man, you just kind of sat there and Soma just droned up, teched up, and then walked across the map with his units, and you had barely left your natural. Like, I feel like there was too much focus on the Wraiths. Like, the Wraiths are an anti-Mutalisk tech, really. There were no Mutalisks. Like, he could have stopped at the one Wraith and just gone into a regular game, but he's like, I need to harass. I need 6 Wraiths to one-shot drones.
Okay, so is that the play then? You just ditch Wraith tech because this is such a bad build versus Terran?
Yeah.
That you can play almost any kind of... Do you want to one-base it or do you want to expand?
Oh, no, the expand was right. Like, and in fact, he already had the command center started when he scouted it. But I think if he had just dropped the Wraiths, if he had just sat on the one Wraith that was doing all the scouting for him and just gone into normal play, if you take every other ASL Terran and you give them the scout of that Hydralisk den, I feel like they all win. Every single one of them.
Yeah, I agree. No, that makes perfect sense, Artosis. Yeah, I mean, it's like, why are you trying to harass right now? He already has Hydras, which is like decent versus your Wraiths. You can't really capitalize on them. I mean, the Wraiths are anti-meta, as you said.
Yeah,
so I think that's a really good point.
Man,
he's too committed to this tech.
Yeah,
and it's fine if you prefer to have this opener, but you have to know when the opener shifts into something else that's going to be much stronger, right? You know, Wraiths can't work versus everything. So we're going to go to the next game now, guys. Soma 1 win away from moving on to the finals. Leta in some hot water. Let's see if he can figure it out. Okay, both players sharing the left side of the map. Soma here at the top and Leta in the bottom. We're going to do one more quick plug here for the Patreon in case Soma closes this out, guys. Patreon.com/ASL English. We hope you consider signing up. We would not be able to do this without your support. We love you guys.
That's right. Thank you very much to everyone who has signed up so far. You guys are amazing. The season has been godly. The amount of people that have stopped by, like my streams and everything, and mentioned that this is one of their favorite seasons ever is higher than I think I've ever seen. And it has been that way. It's been such an exciting season, and I think we're gonna have an unbelievable closer too. Probably Leta versus Flash, but I mean, Leta versus Flash. No, Soma versus Flash, which would be amazing. But here we are, still watching Leta trying to battle back, and I guess we'll see if that works. But again, I'm getting beyond myself. Thank you again for signing up. Again, that's patreon.com/ASL English.
Yeah, I've had a lot of friends reach out to me, from my childhood. A lot of my StarCraft buddies, like that I went to school with, or I'd go to those LAN parties with. A lot of people coming back and playing. I think seeing Flash come back. There has been this whole trend overall in gaming where people are just going back to old games. A lot of new games are failing, which obviously is sad. You never want to, someone works on something and it doesn't quite work out. It's too bad, but it seems to be a trend, not just with StarCraft, but like everywhere.
Yeah.
People are going back to the games that, especially in multiplayer, that they were playing all through their childhood. And, people are realizing, okay, man, I'm, in our case, in the middle of my life, right? Like I'm 41 years old and it's like, yeah, this game is still better than all the other stuff that I play. I still connect with this game more.
Yeah.
Than a lot of the new stuff that comes out there. And so across the board, we're seeing all these old gamers come back and play or show their kids, how to play the game. And it's a beautiful thing.
Old people saying, oh, back in my day, it was this way. Well, guess what? We're actually right. Back in our day, it was StarCraft. And in modern day, it's StarCraft. And in the future, hopefully it will still be StarCraft.
I don't see why not.
Yeah.
It's one of the greatest games. It's up there with all the other great games that have ever been made. And, it's a beautiful game. We just still learn new things about it and new ways to play it, new approaches. Like, I didn't really know the whole universe of blind, two-hatch Hydra versus Wraith build. I don't know that. That's so oddly specific.
Yeah.
Especially when I don't play either of these races.
Yeah, you got to be pretty deep for that one.
Yeah.
No, and all the matchups have stuff like that too, where it's like, oh yeah, no, if this is all you do, man, that's what this weird situation entails. Yeah, taking a look at this game, it is another walled tech build from Leta, and he's just putting on a little pressure with the first Marine. This is actually a really good idea from Leta. He's playing so obviously with his walls and his non-aggression, even pushing with one Marine against a Soma who's trying to literally make 0 lings. Does a good job. Like, forces a little bit of lost mining time. Just messes him up a little bit. Makes him make a couple lings. So I like that as his opener.
Yeah, I think it's a good idea. The problem is one Marine is one Marine actually loses to one Zergling, which is crazy.
Yeah.
Which is, you would think, just the way the races are kind of built out, where Terran's supposed to, in some ways, be in the middle there, that the Marine would be stronger, but then you realize when you get too many of them, they are just so powerful.
Yeah.
And it's going to be a quick command center here, probably into a second starport. So the build's looking a lot like the Jane Doe game. You can pretty much use this Vulture to trap any lings inside the main and take that free base, and there's that second starport.
Oh, man. That's, well, it's predictable.
It's here we go.
Yeah,
this man will live and die by the Wraith.
And they mostly die, unfortunately, here today.
Yes.
He's been just so into this build so far. The thing is, Soma's already shown a great deal of skill in countering it and just not really taking that damage. I like the direction in which his Overlord went, by the way. It's just kind of out towards the middle a little bit. So he has actually dodged the Wraith with an Overlord so far. It looks like this one will get caught. This is one of the cool things about Leta's Wraith play is he knows where the Overlords should be approximately, because he does this build so much. Like, Tastosis, like, I could execute the build order to this point. I would never have found that Overlord he just hit. That Overlord would be invincible against me. He'd be like, I'll give you $1 million if you find my second Overlord. I'm like, I don't know, man. I don't know where that is.
I haven't seen a ton of pro gamer interviews, but have someone sat him down and been like, what's the deal with the Wraiths? Like, why are you doing this?
I haven't seen if they have.
Somebody let us know if there's any Koreans watching, if there's material somewhere, because I would like to know his mindset. Is it, why always this?
His dad's a pilot.
I mean, it's so interesting to me because it's not even that he does it a lot. It's that this is all he does.
Yeah.
He's seen the other games, right?
Jesus.
Okay, man. Soma just literally sniped 2 Wraiths. That's insane to me.
Losing your first 2 Wraiths, like that, this build barely holds just with no Wraiths dying, right? Like, if someone goes hard on mutas, it will barely hold. The thing is, Soma's so good at playing against this, I think he can actually skip the attacking phase here and play like he played in the other games. And Leta's sitting here buying more turrets because he lost the Wraiths, but also the Wraiths are going to take longer to move out. So, like, Soma already has an advantage. Like, he can attack, and it looks like he might, but, like, I don't think he even needs to do anything here. I think he's, like, the world is his oyster. He's already so far ahead.
He takes out that first turret. The Overlords are going to come in here. There's not enough Wraiths to ever snipe down these Overlords. 3 is quite a bit to try to fight. And he's just going to continue to pelt these SCVs. Queen's Nest.
Oof. Did you see the amount of drones he just made? Holy crap.
Yeah, it's pretty disgusting. He's getting that third base up here. This time it's going to be at the natural. This is one of these maps where there's like a lot of places you could expand to, so Leta's really not going to know what's going on the map. Remember that you get the Academy really late when you do this. You actually have no idea what's going on the map.
It's very true. Like, you hope to be able to be moving out with your Wraiths at some point and starting to gain a bit more intel. But losing those first 2 Wraiths has made that very difficult indeed. I don't see any Barracks ads as of yet. He is getting +1, and his eBay is sitting out in the middle of nowhere, so the Overlord actually saw that. So now there's not even a question what's happening. He knows a follow-up is coming. The Queen is already out. I'm sure Ensnare already on the way. Hive is already on the way. This Hive is incredibly quick. Like, this is definitely not what people were doing against Wraith openers. You can look even earlier in the tournament when Leta was, eliminating some of the best Zergs already. They were, like, trying to kill him. And that's what he's ready for. Look at him. He's like, come try to kill me. And someone's like, what if I just go Hive Tech? That beats everything.
Yeah. Yeah, it's an interesting point. He's got such a different approach. He just sort of... he does what he can and then just beelines the tech into the Queen. Right? And it's not like it's nothing dramatic with the Queens, by the way. It's one Queen with Ensnare.
Yeah.
By the way, I would love to see an infested command center here. I feel like we don't see that as much as we could. I don't know. That'd be a great note to end on here.
That would
be. We could have him, like, ensnare that. The mutas come in there, they damage everything. And because the Queen will automatically go into the command center without you telling it to and infest it. By the way, Infested Terran, maybe the coolest voice in the game. Would you agree?
Yeah, definitely.
Oh my God, he one-shotted a creep colony.
Yeah, that was crazy.
I don't think I've ever seen that in my whole life.
No,
that looked so weird. For a second, I thought I was on a UMS where they changed all the stats of what the damage is. I'm like, that's impossible.
Yeah.
I've never seen laser shots come out and one-shot a creep colony. That's crazy.
That's a new one for me as well. He burrowed the drone, so he didn't take too much damage here. The barracks are being added, but the Hive is, like, already done, and his barracks aren't even up. You know what I feel like this is, Tasteless? Because I've watched so many Wraith games, and I feel bad about this because so many people are in love with these Wraith builds and feel like Wraiths have been such an influential unit in this ASL, and they have been. But I feel like this is one of those Emperor has no clothes moments. Where Soma came in and he's like, what are you fools doing? Wraiths suck. They're paper airplanes. This is how you beat them. And I feel like the power of Wraith builds, like, I think a lot of Zergs that didn't like playing against them before are going to look at this like you were alluding to at the beginning and just be like, what? Yeah. You just go up to Hive, you know?
Yeah. You go up to Hive because they can't stop you. You don't even have to really attack into them other than that first poke in. Get a Queen. It truly is an Emperor has no clothes thing. I think you look at this, and it's one of these things. This is what I imagined, and I bet a lot of people that are watching this probably imagined someone was going to do something so complicated, like super fast Hydras into some weird. That's what I thought. It's like, no, you really don't do a whole lot of anything. You get the Queen. You look in here. You're basically going to have enough to possibly overwhelm them at their natural expansion. And that's it. Rush right into Defilers, send him across the map.
Yeah. All of his focus and attention seems to be on the Wraiths and then moving around. He's killing Overlords. And that's cool, but he's not making any sort of real progress. It's like, okay, he has a lot of production. He has double eBay. I can see how this worked in practice for him because people weren't playing like Soma is, where Soma is literally like, yeah, you'll deal a little bit of damage, but I have 4 base Hive right now, and you're about to move out with your first bio push at 12 minutes with 11 Wraiths, and I have Plague, Ensnare, and Dark Swarm. It's just, I don't think this game is going to end pretty, Tasis, and I don't think Leta is going to pick up a second map.
Oh, he's looking for the Ensnare, but the Wraiths are on the other side here. Okay, he's going to come up. Ooh.
Those are so
Gotta be
stacked.
careful. Why is he doing that? It's so crazy. That's a second blind Ensnare shot he's done, which is wild. That Ensnare's got insane range, and Wraiths are so fast. So I'm almost mystified by the balls on Soma to just like chuck that out. Okay, so here comes the push now for Leta. Now the problem is this push seems very ill-timed, in part because of the whole order that things develop in this matchup.
Yeah.
When you go for Wraiths, is that everything else is lagged behind. The Marines, the vessels, the tanks, if you're even going to use them. I think with this build, you basically skip tanks. Plague on the Wraiths. Oh my God.
What do you do there?
You've seen it all here. We've seen this is, you know, I can't believe how many different ways we're going to see Wraiths go down in this series.
They're dying in every single way.
Yeah.
Oh my
God. Wraith
God.
Final Destination.
This is, did you see that newer movie, Mickey 17?
I have not, no, but
it's
here we
exactly
go.
like that.
Guess how good glaives are in this moment. Oh my
Yeah.
God, they're all cloaked. The little plague blood came off.
Thank God. Well, those are all at like 1 health. This is not looking
You
good.
watch. He's going to just cast another blind plague just over a bunch of Wraiths moving around to try to tag him.
Yeah, why not? It does bring him in.
It does reveal him.
Dude, 1 Muta kills like 8 Wraiths there. It's so funny. Wow. All right, well, like, the thing is, everything we see Leta doing doesn't actually have value. Like, it looks like value. He's like, well, he killed all the Mutas now, and he's killed so many Overlords. But none of that is really meaningful this late into the game. Like, you can lose all those, and it's not a big deal. He's got Ultra Defiler. And what does Leta have? He's just producing Marine Medic Firebat.
This feels like it has answered the Wraith style so definitively.
It does feel that
right?
way.
And it seems like you're right, and I'm so glad you pointed this out, Tastosis. All the Zergs were trying to, like, panic end the game because they're afraid the Wraiths are going to get too strong. And Soma does the exact opposite. It's like he ignores them.
Yeah.
He just completely does not respect the Wraith threat and just goes back and kind of does his own thing.
Yeah, he accepts a certain amount of damage and, yeah, just techs up really quickly. And I think the ensnare is an incredibly important part because the Wraiths can't really attack into it. Like, he's missing the ensnares when he's going around chasing the Wraiths. But if the Wraiths try to dive in and actually do something, he'll hit the ensnare, you know?
Well, you know, the third base never happened. I guess, you know, it's funny. The Wraiths themselves are answered so strongly, but also this whole setup in the late game seems to be completely useless and not timed out correctly. I guess that's the other shocker of this, is that not only do the Wraiths not do a lot of damage, but then you've missed the crucial moment that most of early game TVZ is about. Most of TVZ is trying to end the game before the Zerg has Hive. I'm sorry, before they have the Defiler tech with Consume is really what I'm trying to say. But generally when Hive started, you want to push. And what happens is this comes out and it's like, okay, here are my Defilers. You can't do anything. You can literally, first of all, you can never fight me if there's a Dark Swarm Cloud. Second of all, you will never push into my natural or my third base. It will never, ever happen. So what are you doing on the map? We're now in a different game. And, you know, the problem is from there, Soma's just so good at this kind of game.
Yeah, it is like Leta's an entire phase of the game behind. Like, this would be an excellent mid-game army before you have all that Hive tech. Wraiths, finally, the last Wraiths do die. It was actually, I was getting a little bit upset watching him even bring those over and hit another Overlord, where it's like, dude, killing Overlords isn't going to fix what's going on here. It's like putting a Band-Aid over a decapitated person's neck or something. It's like, no, man, like, come on. Just, you got to do something else here. I don't even know. Like, I can't even come up with a plan for comeback because this is so... He just doesn't have the right tech. He's sitting here playing with Marine Medic against Ultra Plague.
Yeah, well, this also just shows why Terrans play the matchup differently, why Wraiths are almost only used as this curveball build order and not your base style.
Yeah.
Right? Is that Zerg do seem to be able to basically... fairly simply, apparently, kind of navigate the game to a safe place. And, you know, now we're in the Zerg's territory. The Zerg has got the Defilers. Ultra Tech is coming out. 4 bases, which means 4 gases. Lings with the Crackling upgrade. I mean, it's like everything you've got is there. Most Zergs have to fight for their lives to get this tech up. But not against this tech. Yeah. You know, not against Wraith Tech. Not against slow playing with Mutalisks into 1 Queen with Ensnare.
I think the problem, well, the sad thing is, Leta didn't know this. Like,
no.
Clearly he didn't know that this counter destroys what he's doing. And you have to figure it out eventually. Like Soma just figured it out. It reminds me like deeply of some other things that have happened in StarCraft. Like, you know in StarCraft 2 how you have the plates at the bottom of the ramp?
Right.
The last tournament that I recall that had that, I was playing in a tournament in Germany, and Maro did that to me, and I was like, what? I can't get down my ramp? And then it never again was that the case. And it was like, oh, someone has to eat a loss like this, like what happened to Leta. No one will ever do builds like that again, I think, in a tournament like this. It'll be like a mix-in, like you said. I think it is totally...
Unless there's some way to be active with the Wraiths, I don't know what on earth you do with that.
No,
I think the build order has been so answered. It has been so shut down.
It feels that way.
Leta was doing rain dances, and then Soma came along with an iPhone and it was like, here's what the weather's going to be tomorrow.
And then actually it rained and Leta won one game, but that isn't the norm. That was really rough. Soma just completely dominated him, man. I feel bad for Leta because you can tell he prepped hard. I'm sure he had good practice partners, but they were using the old way to beat Wraiths. And now there's a new way. And maybe there's another kink in the road that can be figured out for Wraith play to still make it kind of work. But this was as good an answer as you can really come up with, I think.
Yeah, and I'll tell you what, this is a meta-shifting thing. You know, Wraiths probably got really popular this tournament as people are following Leta and, you know, seeing these fantastic players kind of fall to this. But, you know, we're showing this. This is, like, almost inconsequential. Yeah. It's like he's already on the hive tech. We got the counterattack coming in here. I guess the reality is, with the instant replay, are they really going to show, like, the Wraiths just sitting in the base? You know? Because that's what ended up happening. But, yeah, I mean, this style has been answered. And again, if anybody can find an interview where Leta explains why he always does this, like, does he think this is the best way to play? Does he just find it fun? Why, if you're one of the players that can qualify for the most competitive StarCraft tournament by far in the world, would you go here? Oh, interview time, guys. Let's continue on that after this.
ASL Season 21
And that does it for this ASL Season 21 semi-finals match between Soma and Leta. Let's have a word with Soma as he makes his second grand final in a row. Congratulations. Thank you. Off the back of perfect performance, you once more succeed in advancing to the grand final. I wonder what it means to you knowing that this is not the end of your journey. How are you feeling? To be honest, I had a really tough time during practice. I was bearing the possibility of losing in mind because it seemed like such a difficult thing to make the finals twice. When I thought I'd won that last set, I felt goosebumps all over. Advancing, winning is a happy thing. In the pre-game interview, you said that it would take Leta a lot of courage to try and play 2 starport even once. I felt that you are feeling so confident because practice must have gone well. I'm surprised to hear that was not the case. I'm curious as to what your practice looked like. What difficulties did you face? Preparing for the matches this season, I felt a deep sense of burden. I think I let my worries overtake me. It was tough. I think that's what was difficult. We saw so many games of Leta using Wraiths over and over today. And you showed many ways of bringing those Wraiths down. There was a time you took them down with mutas, and another when you went for fast queens. I felt you came perfectly prepared for everything that Leta was planning to do. I prepared mainly for Leta's Wraiths, and I knew I can take them down if he plays 2-pole Wraith. But he is a seasoned veteran, he plays those builds extremely well. I didn't mean anything back when I said what I said. You closed the series with all but one unfortunate loss. If we go back to that defeat, I remember seeing a sour expression paint itself on your face when you lost. From your perspective, what do you think had a bigger impact on you losing? The fact that Leta dodged ensnares, or the fact you discovered his hidden base at 1 o'clock a bit too late? Not being able to ensnare the wraiths was the thing. If I had caught them and only then scouted the 1 o'clock, I think I still would have won with ultras. I just got. When the score was 2-1, Leta could still catch up, but he did not lose focus until the end, as he scored a point in the 4th and 5th games. Once again moving on to the grand final. You now have to prepare for another Terran in the finals, as 2 giants await as possible candidates. It's Light and Flash. Whoever you play, it won't be easy. But who would you rather go up against? Well, those 2 are the best Terrans. I'm fine with either advancing, but for me, it would be more meaningful if Flash advanced. He's a wall I need to overcome. Light is also really good, but it would mean more for me if Flash made it through. Soma needs to prepare for one more ZVT in the finals. I'm sure you had many colleagues help you improve your versus Terran. Who helped you? I'm very thankful to Royal because he helped me a lot, as well as Mind and Rush. That's who helped me. And not only your practice partners, but you also had a lot of colleagues show up to the studio as they cheered loudly every time you won. Well, big thanks to our Sylphid members for coming here. I'd be even happier if Chungman is also cheering for me. I'm always thankful to my wife, who looks after me when I practice. And I also have fans supporting me. Thanks to them, I was able to overcome my nervousness. Thank you. Your goal now is to become a back-to-back champion, as only one more mountain to climb remains. Let's close things out as we hear your resolutions for this season one more time. I honestly didn't think I would make it into the finals again this season. I'm having such a tough time preparing, you know. But with just one last person remaining, I'll give it everything I've got, prepare well, and show you a cool match. Once more, congratulations on advancing. See you at Kintex in Ilsan. Congratulations. Thank you. We just heard from this season's first finalist. Let's throw it back to the commentators for a recap of today's results.
Well, there you have it, guys. I wish it was at least a 4-2, but you know, Soma just completely buried this style from Leta in kind of in an absolute definitive, like, this is what you do versus this. 2-port Wraith has been answered. It really feels it. I think there's like a little window for mixing in like a basically 2-port Wraith all in, but I think that's it. These expansion 2-port Wraith things, we'll see. Like, I'm sure Leta will work on it, but I don't know that there's going to be a way out of that one. Yeah. Guys, tomorrow we will be banging out Light versus Flash. This is going to be completely insane. This is going to be the best TVT ever, I think. Ever. By the way, Flash looking like he could win this whole ASL, but people are beating him. In previous ASLs, he was going through untouched, unscathed. Yep. Basically, perfect combos. 2-0, 3-0, 4-0 into winning ASLs. That's not happening this time. Light might take this. That's a real possibility. Light is, like, by far the second best Terran and has been since Flash. Even when Flash was here before, like, Light has always been, like, second fiddle to Flash. And his mechanics are as good. Just to make it really clear, he can macro as well and as quickly as Flash. It's Flash's understanding and his build order variation that generally gets him ahead of Light.
But this is the most dangerous opponent you can probably come up with for him in Terran vs. Terran.
You can see the information about the finals here, guys. Ticketing information is shared in the YouTube post if you're watching this on YouTube, which is where most of you guys see this. I would expect this to be a very sold out finals. Well, I'll try to get more information and I'll put on X like when and where the sales are going to be. But you want to be ready to get this, because this is, I mean, Soma versus Light or Soma versus Flash. Yeah, that's going to be hard to get into.
Yeah, it's going to be a crazy finals no matter who it is, because it's going to be like the best Terran currently against Soma, who's the best Zerg currently. And Terran versus Zerg is such a fun matchup. And I don't think we'll see many Wraith builds in the finals, if I could be honest.
No, I do not think we'll be seeing that. Guys, thank you so much for joining us for this. We're looking forward to that TVT tomorrow. Be sure to sign up for the Patreon if you haven't already. Tastosis, any closing thoughts?
No, I think I don't fault Leta for that series. I think Soma just figured out the answer and Leta was unaware. So it's a little bit sad, but good attempts by Leta. I think he did come in with some good plans. And at least he gets a seed for next season. So we'll definitely see him back next season and see if he's developed his play even more.
We love you guys. We'll see you next time. Bye-bye.